Hi guys, and welcome to my fourth PHP tutorial. I'm Rascal999 and I shall be covering some more authentication techniques for logging into a website. I'm going to assume you've seen my previous tutorials, so like my second one specifically, because it kind of covers this thing but without SQL. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, I'm going to assume you've got an SQL database up and running. I'll just show you quickly what the setup here I've got. I've made a database called login and a table called login. I have three fields: ID, user, and pass. ID is unique or auto-incrementing, and user and pass is pretty obvious, it's a string. Okay. Alright, so now I've done that. Okay, this code here is basically the setup. This is the shell kind of thing, if you want to. This is basically this. Okay. Providing you've, okay, so when this is all set up, we can move on to the PHP. The first thing PHP is going to have to do is capture or encapsulate the data that's been entered into the username and password fields. Okay. So just let me assign these variables to whatever. Sorry. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, post user is basically the data that's been entered into the username field. Okay, same with password but with different variables. I don't want to keep calling post user, okay, or post pass. So what I'm going to do is assign it to a variable which is shorter and faster and easier to write. So once I've done all that. Once I've done that, the second thing we need to do is determine whether the user has just visited the page or is trying to log in. Okay. So to do that, what I've decided to do is when you click on the button to log in, so when you click go, it will redirect you to the same page but with a different URL. Okay, it will include the question mark login equals yes bit. Okay. Basically, if you just go to index.php, the code that precedes this if statement won't get executed. Okay. Alright, so once you've done that, MySQL connect 192.168.0.4, and that's the SQL server address. Okay, that's the password, username, sorry, and that's the password. Okay, this is the password bit here. Okay. Because I don't have a password assigned to the test account, I'll leave that blank. Alright, so now we've connected the database. We need to select a database. In this case, it's going to be login, as I've explained earlier. Okay. You don't have to make it login for anything you want, but I've used login for whatever. It's just what I'm going to be doing. Okay. So now that you've selected the database, you need to query the database. Okay. So in this case, we're going to do get. Get becomes MySQL query. Select account ID. So select the ID. Select all the ID fields where. Sorry. Select all the ID. Select all the ID fields from the login table where user equals user and pass equals pass. Okay. I noticed I've used single quotes. I don't think they're compulsory, but I've decided to use them anyway. Once you've done that, basically the get now becomes this SQL query. If you don't know what this is, if you don't know what the SQL queries are, please go to my website and I shall clarify them there. Or alternatively, go to w3schools.com/php and go to the MySQL section. Okay. Alright, so now that the database has, now that a variable has been assigned to the number of records that have a username of user and a password of pass, we need to result it. Okay. Okay. Result get 0. Okay. Okay, so if there is one record, so let's say there's one record, user types in a password of pass and user of pass, test, sorry, and it appears in the database. then count ID will become 1. Okay. You need to do the following line here. So result becomes MySQL result get, which is this. So basically result becomes 1. Or if the database finds nothing, then result becomes 0. Okay, so it's get or 0 basically. Okay. Now that you've done that, we need to do an if statement which determines whether or not there is a result. Okay. In this case, it's going to be if result does not equal 1. So if there's more than one result, there are no results, then echo login failure. Okay. We don't want multiple users. You know, if there's multiple users with the same passwords, blah 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 blah, then you fucked up the database. Okay. You need to start again, rewrite your registration form, whatever. Okay. Okay, so if result doesn't equal 1, then echo failure, else, so if result does equal 1, else do the following code. Okay, echo login success, so the user knows that they've entered correct details, and make session user equal user. Okay. Alright, so now we've done that. Okay, so now that sorry, just go back a bit. So now that because the database has done all it needs to do, because if you connect to the database up here, you've determined whether or not there's any records with username and password. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, you don't need to do anything else with the database, so you can close the connection. Okay, so close con. There you go. There's no longer communication between the client and the SQL database, right? Or in this case, you know, the script. Okay. Alright, so now you've done that. That should all work. Last thing to do is obviously close that off, save, and upload. Okay. So we've uploaded that. If we refresh this page, nothing's changed. But if we enter some details, so for example test password, you know, which is this field here, if you do go, don't remember passwords, login success. Okay, it's worked. Right. Let's enter something stupid. Okay. Okay, so there's no such thing as admin. So let's try admin pass login failure. Okay. Basically, that means it didn't work. Okay, so there's obviously no field there with admin and, you know, whatever. Right. Let's try username test and password pi. Okay. Username test password pi login failure. Okay, that didn't work because the SQL code here specifically states that it wants. It will only select records where user equals user and pass equals pass. Okay, if it was or, if the and was or, then it would work. Okay, you know, test and pi would work, but it doesn't. Okay, so forget about that. Alright, so yeah, basically that's all I've really got time to do. If you want to find out more SQL, you know, if you want to find out some more PHP or see my other tutorials, please visit my website rascal99.co.uk, and it will link you. And yeah, I hope all goes well for you. Okay. My next tutorial shall probably cover some shit about the session ID stuff I've been doing down here. Okay. Basically, login success session equals user. Yeah, I'll explain in another story. Okay, but if you know what this is, then great. If you don't worry. Okay, my next tutorial shall cover session stuff. Okay, but yeah, basically don't worry about it. Alright, so yeah, I'm Rascal99. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and yeah, I shall be releasing something else soon, I hope. Bye bye.